Hi, I'm Dr. Vijendra from the Healing Zone. In this next clip, I'm going to share a little bit of information about what is the role of genetics in cancer. There is so much information out there, and every day we are bombarded with new drugs that claim to be able to modify or change the genetic expression, and that this is touted as the next breakthrough. And ever since we were able to elucidate the human genome, it has been the scientists' dream that we will be able to manipulate every part of our genetic sequence for a potential medical benefit. The question before us today is cancer a genetic disease? Much of mainstream oncology unfortunately believes this to be the case, that your cancer is in your genes and you are born with these risk factors. But is that really true? Now, to understand this, we just need to look at what has happened in terms of cancer incidence over the last, say, 100 years. Now, if we look back and we were to plot the cancer incidence, this is roughly how the graph is going to look like. That we had pretty low incidence, say just a little over 100 years ago, but starts to really, see a different trajectory in the last 40 to 50 years. Especially so in the developed countries, or as countries industrialize, such that it's almost 1 in 2 individuals are going to get cancer in their lifetime. But that's not the only problem. Almost 1 in 3 will get maybe heart disease in their lifetime. 1 in 4 has either diabetes or pre-diabetes or some other spectrum of metabolic problem. And many other diseases, other neurodegenerative disease, autism, and so on and so forth. So what we are seeing is, in this time frame, that there has been an explosion of cancer, and this trajectory has not stopped. It is still continuing. Now, if we were to look at the human genome at this point in time, that's about 100 over years ago, and we were to compare with the genome, say, in 2020, actually they are very much the same. There has been no significant change in the human genome in this time frame that we are looking at. Now, this is interesting and important, because for those who claim your cancer is caused by your genes, fail to look or answer the reason, why is it that with the same set of genes your great-grandfathers did not have cancers like we are having today? So this is something that does not adequately explain. In fact, we can go back in history for about 20,000 years, and the human genome is a pretty stable blueprint. Changes in our genome have occurred very slowly and very infrequently. So this is one very important point to remember, that you were not born with cancer. The second part of this is that, and I've mentioned this in our earlier video, is we all inherit what we call oncogenes. Okay? Now these are what we call growth promoter genes, but we also inherit growth suppressor genes. So we have both of these, oncogenes and growth suppressor genes. But there are a small number of individuals, probably no more than 3% to 5%, who inherit a greater tendency to form cancer. Now, this is important. The emphasis here is tendency. It does not mean if you carry these genes, you will definitely get cancer. This again depends on a variety of other what we call epigenetic factors. So this is not just about your genes, this is also about the epigenetic factors. And we have done this, we have gone through these reasons earlier in our discussion, where we looked at all the different root causes, and this is where your damage comes in. And this is the damages that industrialized and modernized living brings with it. So this should put to rest our preoccupation with genetics. There is much we learn from genetics, but it is not the cause of cancer. Cancer is expressed through genetic expression. Now, I think the work of people like Thomas Seyfried, who did some very, very important and interesting experiments where they placed the nucleus of cancer cells in normal cells and vice versa. And they found that the cytoplasm, which is the environment of the nucleus, has a very powerful role on how the genes are being expressed. So, to summarize, it is not all about the genes that you inherit, it is about the environment in which these genes are growing up in that would stimulate the wrong growth genes and suppressing those suppressor factors. Again, the knowledge of this is vital because we are now able to identify what are these factors that would stimulate cancer growth and what are those factors that would suppress cancer growth. These are very important pieces of information that we can incorporate into your treatment paradigm. In terms of your food and lifestyle choices, this can be used to downplay or downgrade those genetic expression which are cancer forming. Now with that, we will end today's session. Thank you.